Crime Book Club. I was just asking Mona Marple whether she had books with her, but you're actually at the office tonight, so no books.
No books, sorry.
That's okay, but tell us all about your Cozy Crime mystery series, sorry. And
Yeah, sure.
introduce yourself. I'm skipping right ahead.
So I'm Mona and I'm British. I live in Nottinghamshire, a little kind of mining town where I have been born and bred. And I live with my husband, my daughter, who is a complete pampered princess, as I think all girls are. And my Labradoodle Coco, who my reader group actually helped convince my husband to get. He was quite anti-dog, and I got my reader group on the case with reasons why we should get a dog. And Coco is the result, so clearly they are amazing, and it worked.
It really did. So tell us about Hollywood and where you came up with her name as well. And just about the 3 stories that you've done so far.
Yeah, sure. So I've always wanted to write a series that's set in a kind of winter wonderland, a Christmas wonderland. I'm a big kid when it comes to Christmas, and I just thought it would be so fun to allow my imagination to go wild and imagine this place that is kind of the North Pole, but a little bit kind of modern and full of elves and all that good stuff. So that is the Christmas Mysteries series, and there's 3 books in that series so far. The hero in that series, as you say, is Hollywood. I just like funny names. There's no deeper reason than that. And she crashes into a snowdrift and is rescued by Mrs. Claus and taken to Candy Cane Hollow, where she meets Nick Claus, who is quite a good-looking, dimpled dish of a man. So there's a little kind of subplot of romance going on in that series, and it's just fun to write and apparently fun to read. That's what people tell me.
It's definitely fun to read. It's very they're so sweet, and the settings, and then you put all this other stuff in there, but it's just this lovely warmth to it.
Thank you.
Is winter your favourite season?
Yes, I think I'd say it is. Probably starting now, actually, because I'm the same with Halloween as well. I love Halloween as well. So, yeah, this kind of time of year when the leaves are changing and things are getting a bit spooky. But I actually don't like scary things. So that's why my level of spookiness is kind of childish, and children's Halloween level I'm okay with.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then moving into bonfire night and then Christmas, and I'm a December baby as well, so yeah, this quarter's very exciting for me.
We've already got some Halloween decorations up from my youngest daughter's birthday. She likes Halloween, so excuse me. Sorry.
Okay.
So we've got some people who've joined us already. Hi, Kaz and Leslie and Aggie. So we've already got some hellos for you.
Hi.
And for me. So what led you to Cozy Crime? So let's ask a little bit about your day job first,
Okay.
which is quite at odds with your writing life.
Yeah, so I'm a criminal lawyer by day. So yeah, it's quite heavy at times, very, very involved with cases, defending people, and the vast majority of my clients are lovely, I have to say. So I'm very, very lucky in that way. But definitely, cozy mystery is lighter than what I'm doing in my day job, and that's probably partly why I'm attracted to writing it.
Must be quite a nice escape when you have criminal law, quite an involved, as you say, lots and lots of different things going on. So to back and write something so lovely and so sweet, and have this magical winter wonderland setting to work with, must be just such a good release.
It is definitely, and I was kind of brought up on cozy mysteries, although I never knew the name for it. But growing up, my mum read cozy mysteries, and she was also watching Poirot and Miss Marple and all of those kind of things on TV. So very cozy mystery genre. She would never call it that. So I've kind of stumbled across there being a name for it, and actually realised my whole life was kind of cozy mystery focused.
I can imagine that. So is that where the name Marple came from?
Yes. Yeah, that was a little
And
nod to my mum for introducing me to Miss Marple.
I love that. I love when there's a really nice reason behind a pseudonym. Nothing wrong with just, choosing one that you like, but when there's a reason, I really like that. So Caroline has asked, she said she loves Halloween and Christmas. She has a Halloween costume, a spider web dress that she wears to work regularly, and I can say she does. Maybe it's a December baby thing.
Oh, maybe it is. I love that.
Do you have days in the office with such a serious job? Do you have kind of Christmas jumper days and all those kind of things?
We definitely do, yeah. And I think because we do such serious work, it's probably even more important that we keep in touch with those little lighter pieces and fun where we can find it. So of course we've got to stay professional, but yeah, 10th of December this year is Christmas jumper day. It's already in the diary.
I love that. Kaz has also asked, oh, okay. Are you ever asked to advise other crime authors on law?
Am I what, sorry?
Ever asked to advise other crime authors?
Yeah, occasionally I have been, yeah.
So what about support networks within authors? Obviously, we've just come out of, various lockdowns and the world is changing. I don't know how much going back to work whether that's been any different for you or not.
So in terms of my law work, I worked all the way through the pandemic. So I was one of those people out on the road every day, not seeing any other cars and wondering what was going on. It was completely surreal. It's been nice to welcome everybody else back to work. But yeah, I kept hearing all of these people who were furloughed or just not working and they've got all of this time, and that wasn't my lockdown experience at all. So I'm quite jealous, really.
And she's also asked, what inspired you to write paranormal cozy crime? Leslie, she missed it. It's paranormal. So
Yeah,
tell us about your other books,
yeah, of
as well
course.
as the cozy crime.
Of course. So the Mystic Springs series is paranormal, and that features Connie, who is a medium, and her sister Sage, who is beautiful and young, but that's because she's been dead for 20 years. And together, the two of them kind of get thrown into solving some crimes. They're quite an odd pairing. They're very, very different characters. Sage is quite on the surface, she's quite frivolous, she's quite shallow, but then as you continue reading, you learn that there is more to her. And again, I was just interested. I think really it's very often it's finding a question that interests you. And for me, I am interested in that question of, are there ghosts there, and is it possible to connect with and speak to them? Could they be kind of out there existing alongside us? And that's what the Mystic Springs series explores.
I want to go right back to when you first started writing. I saw a really sweet story on your Amazon page, which we will drop a link to at the end, and I couldn't not ask about it.
Okay. Is
So
this
tell us about where you started. The penny stories.
a one penny a story? So this was me at primary school, being a complete geek, which I have always been, and I decided that I would write. So imagine a lined piece of paper, and on every line I wrote the title of what could go on to become a short story, but they were literally just titles. And then I went around the playground hawking my stories to friends and anybody who would listen, and offered to write a custom story if they picked a title for a penny, which is so cringeworthy as I think back, because I'm a complete.
I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, I think it's just that I'm such an introvert. So how I ever had the confidence to approach these people and basically try and cold sell short stories to them is I've got no idea what was going on. And then ever since then, I've been writing. So I went through a teenage angsty phase where I was writing a lot of emotional poetry and things. I've just always turned to paper and pen.
I think it's good. I think writing from a young age, I was the same, and none of my stuff, I can barely remember some of it. But I think starting that young and looking around, and you're basically marketing yourself. You're seeing what people were interested in, what titles grabbed them. So this is all really good stuff when it comes to moving on to actual novels.
Yeah, it's just such a surprise to me, knowing my personality, that I ever dared to do it.
Kaz wants to know, do you read a lot of cozy crime, and if so, who are your favourites? She loves Charlene Harris's Aurora Teagarden series.
I read really widely, actually. So I read everything apart from horror and science fiction. I don't get on with science fiction, and horror is too scary for me. But pretty much
I've got to
everything.
admit, I'm not good with horror.
Yeah,
Can't watch it, don't really read it, not much.
I know that I would have nightmares very, very easily, so I just don't go there. But everything else I'm pretty much open to. So the last cozy mystery book I read was by, is it Liz Ireland? And it's the second book in her Mrs. Claus series. So it was Mrs. Claus and the Homicidal Halloween, something like that. It's a Christmas
What a
series,
title that is.
Halloween version. And it was so good. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Well, I've been reading The Lost Clause this week, and the one I read before that, I actually got it back off my mum. Death at Dappledyke, it's cozy crime from Robin Ruffley, and he's just trying his hand at things. He usually writes quite dark stuff.
Yeah.
So, which leads me nicely into my next question. Would you ever write the darker stuff? You're not a horror fan. You've criminal law for your day job, and you've obviously write really lighter things. So, would you ever be tempted?
Yeah, I think I would. I don't know how many cozy readers would want to read something more nitty gritty, a little bit darker. But yes, I would consider it, and it would be good in a way to put that kind of knowledge of the system into a book, because cozy mysteries just don't include that whole side of things. But something like a police procedural, or something that is a bit more, maybe like a psychological thriller, or just a bit of a darker thriller series would be, I think, quite good to sink my teeth into. Yeah.
And Kaz asked, do you write under a pseudonym because of the day job? So
Yes.
obviously we talked about Marple being obviously from watching things with your mum.
Yeah.
But that was what prompted the choice.
That's exactly it, and it's just out of respect for the day job clients, really. I would never want them to wonder if a client was based on them, which of course never would happen, but I just want to avoid competition.
Yeah, can absolutely understand that. We've got lots of people who write in the group for so many different reasons. So I think it's a very good reason, a good way of separating it.
Thank you.
Kaz says, Mona was going to be my interview. Boo hiss Sam for stealing her. Sorry, Kaz, snooze you lose. Tony Millington says evening. Sam and Mona, evening, Tony.
Hello.
And Leslie says, hope you can get back soon. Okay. You're going to have to confirm what you mean, Leslie. I'm not sure. Sam, what book is under 1979? Sorry, it's it's a true crime one. I've just got a stack of books. It's called Gone Fishing. But I've just literally, as I come in, my office is not tidy. Would be an understatement. Piles of stuff. So I'm literally just piling the new books up as I get them, just to keep them safe while I sort my new shelves out. My story, I'm sticking with it. have got new shelves to bring in, but it's just time, isn't it, to do everything.
It is.
Um, Kaz has asked, what's your favourite read recently? And she's asked me as well, but I've no idea where to even begin. I'm just going to let you answer that.
Okay.
So you say you read you read widely.
Yeah.
So do you have a favourite one you've read recently?
So I did really like the Mrs. Claus book, but I'll say another one. And again, I'm going to hash up the title. I should have been more prepared with this, shouldn't I? I want to say it's called Nine Perfect Strangers, but I don't know if that's correct. It's basically about.
That sounds right. I will Google.
So it's basically about a hostage situation in a cafe, and it goes through each of the hostages in turn and kind of explores their lives. And I was sobbing as I got towards the end of it. Absolutely loved it. And I don't know if this happens to you, but it left me with a real book hangover, where there were a few days where I just couldn't quite get into another book afterwards. I love it when that happens.
I do. When you just can't switch that thing off. Was it Leanne Moriarty?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
This is why I'm giving the wrong title. I'll
That's the
message
one
you.
I had in my mind, but yeah.
I'll
You'll have to
message you
pop something in the group and just say which book you enjoyed.
I will. It was so good.
So, Kaz, I'm not reading that, Caroline Maston. Holy See, a Mrs. Claus book. Off to Google them. Good. But not yet. You're not allowed to go anywhere yet, Kaz. We've got hello, and I can't see who it's from. So hello, Facebook user.
Hello.
Now Kaz has stolen one of my favourite questions, which is, what's the most recent scene you wrote without giving away spoilers?
Okay. So at the moment, I'm working on a short story for an anthology that will launch next year, and this story is for a new series that will be paranormal women's fiction. And the scene I have just wrote is involving basically the main character has gone to an event with a medium who turns out to be a fraud, and it's that kind of confrontation during the evening where all of these people who've just had readings from her, some of them quite emotional, then discover that she's just a complete fraud and the messages aren't real. So that was quite fun.
The hello was from Mike Craven. Hello, Mr. M.W. Craven. Thank you for joining us. Gets everywhere, that one. I wonder what hat he's wearing today. So, what was your path to publication? What led you towards, being a published author?
So as I've mentioned, I've always been writing, or at least when I was young, I was always writing, and then life gets busy, doesn't it? So I grew up and I got married and I, developed a career and I had a daughter, and all of a sudden I had no time to write. And then my mum had a stroke and she was very, very ill. She still is, completely disabled because of it. And one of the things I took from that was that really life is very, very short and none of us know that we're getting tomorrow. And so that kind of spurred me on to actually write and stop saying I don't have time. And so that's what I did. And I self-published. I'm a bit of a control freak. I've worked for myself since I was about 21. So there wasn't really a possibility of me trying to be traditionally published. So I self-published and I haven't looked back really. It's been a really great journey.
So how many books have you written now in total across the various series?
I want to say it's 18.
I knew it was high, and I knew I should have counted. I generally would have counted. So the one that you're working on now is the next one in the Cozy Mystery series, sorry.
No, so this is a short story which will be a prequel to a brand new series.
So how is that? How is that writing a story that's going to be a prequel, knowing that you're setting the scene but not giving too much away How do you balance something like that when it's an opener?
It's really tricky because you've got to kind of think about in what order will people be reading this. So I am aiming to have the first full-length book in that series released before the anthology launches, and I kind of speak tentatively because who knows if we'll have another pandemic or whatever might happen and close the world down for a while. But that's the plan. It, yeah, I think it's perhaps easier with cozy mystery than other genres because there aren't those huge twists and spoilers that there are in a lot of other genres.
So how do you find writing around a full-time job and being a mom and a wife and, and a daughter and all the other things that you are? How do you write every day? How do you balance it?
No, I
Looking
don't write
fit.
every day. I don't write every day. My life just doesn't allow that really, and I think that's one of the pieces of advice that probably stops a lot of aspiring writers from writing, because a lot of people have lives where they can't find a chunk of time every single day. Um, and that's fine. If you can't write every day, that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. So I write when I can, and sometimes it's getting up early in the morning. My rule is that I don't write in the evening. I'm gone when the evening comes. There's no brain power going on then. Um, I go to bed quite early, so I'm not staying up late doing it. Tends to be early mornings, lunch breaks. I'm actually more productive when I've got more on my plate. So I did trial a couple of years
Yeah.
ago reducing my hours at work and almost splitting my time 50-50, and I did not get much done at all. So yeah, having to fight for every minute helps me in some bizarre way.
Well, it's probably a procrastination thing. Got time, you might just sit and actually think, do you know what? I can actually sit down for a bit, even to stare at a wall.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balancing act. I'd be interested to see what the other authors on the feed say to that as well about the balancing act, because there's just so much going on to distract you in different ways. I found that I have a game on my phone, so if I'm distracted, I think, right, play that for 5 minutes, wake my brain back up, carry on. But I saw a really good tip that said when you've got two projects on the go, if you're getting a bit stale with one, work on the other one. And I thought I might try that at some point, but again, it's putting new habits in, isn't it? What do you think you learned from writing the first book that helped you moving on with the rest of the series and writing other books?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing was just to complete a project because I was so out of the habit of doing that. I was still writing, but I'd maybe write 500 words and leave it alone, and then start a brand new project and write 1,000 words or write a chapter. So, yeah, I think honestly the biggest thing was just taking a project from start to finish and being committed to see it through.
And how long does it generally take you to write a book? Is there a set length of time, or does it vary based on how much time you've got?
Yeah, it does vary. I'm quite a quick writer, so if I had kind of an uninterrupted day, which does happen occasionally, I could probably write about 10,000 words. I certainly couldn't do that every day like some writers do,
Wow.
but just as a kind of an occasional word count, I can do that. And cozy mystery books are quite short, so. Uh, if I say maybe between a month and 2 months to write a book, that's probably a fair estimate. I used to be quicker actually, and then I think I kind of burnt out. So I've started to try to be a bit kinder to myself.
Good. I mean, we do. We have to be kind to ourselves. We're all on the go 24/7. There's always something going on. You go to sleep and you're still thinking about stuff and dreaming about the things that are on your list for the next day. Never ending.
Definitely.
Um, I'm not asking how old your daughter is, but is she old enough to know that you're an author and everything else that you are?
Yeah, she is. So she's 12, and
Oh,
she
I've got
knows
one of
that
those.
books. And some of my lovely readers have sent her presents and things.
Oh, how
So
sweet.
yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. My readers are just the sweetest, most wonderful people. So yeah, sometimes she gets presents and cards from readers, which she loves, of course.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, and all of her heroes in life are doctors, nurses, vets, and authors. So clearly, we're doing something right raising her.
Absolutely.
She adores authors.
Does she ever fancy writing anything?
Not yet. She's not shown any signs yet, but who knows?
Is she like my youngest? Won't talk to you about books because she knows once you go down the rabbit hole, she's never getting out.
Probably.
They come in and they're like, we used to hide the titles of my books when they were younger. I was one of those weird people whose books faced the wrong way around, so you couldn't see the spines. But it was purely because every other one says something about death on it. So didn't want to give them nightmares.
No.
For you, what do you consider cozy crime to be? What does it include? What does it not include?
So in terms of what it includes, it's normally a cast of characters who the reader would like to know and would like to be friends with or connected with. A really nice setting, which can be anything, but it shouldn't be kind of a gritty city centre. It's normally something a bit more cosy or nice or quaint. And then it's really largely about what it shouldn't include. So no on-page violence, no swearing, no sexual scenes or anything like that. So it's a clean read, and very often what cozy mystery readers are wanting is escapism from the darkness that there is in life a lot of the time.
I like the way you phrase that it's the violence isn't on the page, because obviously if there is, for example, a murder, that doesn't sound that cozy, but actually there are obviously techniques to making it not such a horrific thing.
Yeah. And the murder techniques are really, really creative in cozy mysteries. There are so many strange ways that people have been killed in cozy mysteries. It isn't something that's kind of explicitly shown.
Do you have a favourite character that you've written? There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of things going on. So it's not an easy question to answer.
No, I think it might be Mrs. Claus, and she is a favourite with readers as well. She's so
all-knowing.
She is, absolutely. She's so warm and exactly what you'd want in a mum or a mother-in-law. She's just so nurturing and warm. She's also a completely nosy mother, and she's desperate to see her son kind of couple up and settle down, and she's always spying on him and things, but in a really sweet way. So yeah, she's a lot of fun to write.
I do remember early on in The Lost Clause, where Holly gets home from work and is greeted at the door by Nick, and then Mrs. Claus sees them having a quick kiss, and she just seems to be everywhere.
Yes, yeah, and that's a bit of a running joke in the books. Whenever there is a little kiss exchange, she's always watching. Yeah,
Always.
always.
That's hilarious. As long as it's not happening to me, that's hilarious. What kind of things have you planned? Can you even tell us about what you're planning for book 4?
No, because I don't know.
You're not there yet.
No. So book 4 is up for pre-order and it will release next year. I've got a title, but I've got no idea what's going to happen in it yet.
So how do you go about that? Are you a plotter? Do you just see what happens as you go? Characters well enough now to just go with it?
I always plot, and I think that was a big part in what allowed me to start finishing projects, because I never used to plot. So basically I will normally take myself off to a coffee shop with a notebook. I'm very much pen and paper based, quite old fashioned. So I'll go off and get myself, good for you. So I'll go off, get myself a nice drink and just have a session where I write down what is going to happen, and I think about who's going to die, how are they going to die, what's going to be the motive, who are going to be the suspects, what are going to be the clues, what's going to be a red herring, and just start mapping it out. And I like to have a little outline of each chapter, not too much detail, maybe just 1 or 2 sentences, and then take it from there.
Which one of your methods so far thinks the most, I don't know, different than everybody else? I'm quite taken with the glitter ball.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite
Quite,
hear what you said.
quite taken with the glitter ball. Which one do you think's been the most creative for you so far?
For murder method, yeah, definitely the glitter ball. Yeah.
So when you're obviously splitting your time and you're saying self-published, how do you split the time when it comes to marketing as well? Because if you're doing most things yourself, it must take an awful lot of planning and thinking ahead into the future as well.
Yeah, I'm not great with marketing. I know it's something that I should be doing consistently. I think a lot of writers are the same, really, that they want to write, and marketing is a little bit of a foreign language. So I do my best, and I have some really, really great readers who help kind of admin my reader group and help with my review team and things. So I do have some help, and I'm very grateful for that. And I've also got a really lovely network of other authors, and we kind of all help each other and spread the word about things. But yeah, marketing is definitely something I could be doing better at.
So what other process do you do all of the rest of it yourself? Other than maybe beta readers having a look at things, is everything else you?
Yeah, so one thing I've recently asked for help with is getting my paperbacks onto Ingram Spark instead of only on Amazon. I tried that process once, and that was enough. That was a motorbike going by. I don't know if you heard
I did wonder.
that.
I heard something earlier on, and I didn't know if it was outside my house or yours.
So yeah, I've asked an assistant to help with that whole process of uploading and formatting. I'm not really very techy, so if anything is technical, I'm going to struggle with that more and more, I find, as I'm getting older. But yeah,
So
everything else is me, really. Yeah.
are you the same with thinking back to horror and things like that? What kind of, if you're trying to switch off and you're relaxing, what kind of films and TV do you watch? Do you watch all of the kind of the other Line of Duty and the crime stuff, or are you more still into Miss Marple or, Midsummer Murders? I love Midsummer Murders.
Yeah, me too. I love Line of Duty. Watch a lot of reality shows about serial killers and true crime and all of those things. I'm a really big fan of kind of junk TV, as I call it. So I like to watch Come Dine With Me and, just reality shows. I don't really watch films very often. I struggle to concentrate on them. And there are a lot of TV series that I'll start watching and they just get too violent for me, so I'll give up on them. I do that with Sons of Anarchy and various others.
Yeah, I
We've
didn't
just
really get into that.
Yeah, I really liked it until the violence kind of went too far, and then I had to give it up because I just start to have nightmares quite easily. Yeah, we've just watched Squid Game. Really, really enjoyed that. It did give me nightmares.
Okay, that's interesting. My children, and not my 12-year-old, I've got a 16-year-old son and 18-year-old daughter, don't think I should watch it. But you
Okay.
found it acceptable. But they know that I've got a thing with weird faces, kind of a
Right.
dehumanized faces thing. Clowns, I'm fine. I don't know why, but
Okay.
other things. So you found it okay? Sorry, everyone. Chat amongst yourselves for a minute. I want to know whether I should watch Squid Games or not. Heard so much about it.
Yeah, so the thing with Squid Game is we started watching it. My husband told me we were going to watch it because it was so popular and everyone was watching it. So I've actually got no idea what the blurb is to Squid Game. So I don't know how much is a spoiler and how much is kind of known.
Oh,
There
maybe
is
don't tell
some
me then,
violence
just in
in it.
case.
Yeah, so I'm a bit reluctant to kind of tell you details. There is some violence, but it's not graphic, I would say.
I don't mind gore. It is just a weird face thing, and anything that jumps out at me does it in. Please don't test this theory, anybody who knows me, but I've had people jump out at me just because they're waiting to see me jump. But in real life, I don't. But to the TV, I will literally kind of hide my face. I'm a big wuss.
Yeah, there were some points where I was hiding behind the cushion, but not too many.
It's quite nice to know I'm not the only grown woman who will hide behind something.
Oh, I do it especially. You know, if somebody's kind of going into a house and you know that they're going to get caught, or they're probably not going to actually, but they might get caught. I can't stand that. I'm going to be like this the whole way through that scene.
Kaz has said, same here. She loves reality shows. Currently watching America's Next Top Model and Love Is Blind. I've not heard of Love Is Blind.
No, I haven't.
I do like it. We did watch some really old Come Down With Me the other day, though. We're just looking for something completely different. Me and my eldest, we watch a lot of food shows and decorating shows and waiting for Hell's Kitchen this week's 2 episodes to come on. Yeah, quite amusing. But I've not heard of that. I'll have to go and look.
No, I haven't.
Kaz said she's 1 episode in to Squid Game and thought it wasn't that great, but it's not going to be for everybody, is it?
Well,
Oh, okay.
so there's a point in the first episode of Squid Game, and anybody who's seen it will know what point I'm talking about. I was blown away by it.
Really?
Yeah, I will say the end of it. So what happens right at the very end, I did not like. I did not find it a satisfying ending at all. And I do kind of, I think I ruined TV for my husband because I'll say, oh, they've just planted something there that's going to come back later, and he's like, stop it, leave me alone.
I went through. I did some screenwriting. I've never written anything for Screen properly, but years ago. And when I was doing the training, I couldn't watch anything for weeks, months. I couldn't watch anything on TV. And I think if I go back and I rewatch old episodes of Frasier a lot.
Oh, I love Frasier.
I know it's easy to pull it apart now, and I know there's lots of things that were wrong with it, but I don't see any of that. I see the writing and I see like the nice moments, but I couldn't watch anything because I'd see plot holes everywhere.
Yeah.
Drive my husband insane. I ruined CSI for us. We didn't watch it for ages. Kaz has asked a nice question. If you could write with any other author, who would you choose? It's a nice question, Caroline Maston.
That's a very good question.
Mm.
Who would I write with? I don't know.
I really put you on the spot there.
Yeah, because there are so many authors that I love. I could say Amanda M. Lee. She writes amazing paranormal cozy mysteries. I could say Liz Ireland. Let's do a joint Christmas cozy mystery. And then outside of the genre, I love J.D. Kirk. I'm sure a lot of people in your group like J.D. Kirk.
Yeah, his name is mentioned. Hi, Barry. His name is mentioned a lot in this group.
Yeah, absolutely love his books. They're amazing. Yeah, there are so many. But actually, I don't know if I could co-write. I've never tried that process. I don't know how I would find it. It would be interesting to give it a whirl.
I think I'm too annoying. I don't think anybody would want to. Anybody fancies it? Give me a shout. Let's see. So Kaz has asked, have you ever acted out a scene as you write it? Now, I want to add a twist to that and say, has Christmas ever inspired a scene? So we'll start with Kaz's question. Have you ever acted out a scene as you write it?
No, I haven't. I have acted out scenes from my day job, in terms of crimes that are alleged
Yeah.
to have happened. I've kind of physically recreated those with people to see
Just to see
what's
if the evidence kind of and the story fits
exactly, yeah,
and
to
it's
see
possible. Yeah,
if
of
it's
course.
possible. Yeah, exactly. Has Christmas ever inspired? I don't think so. But it's quite a strange thing of being a writer who's writing seasonal books. Because I don't plan that far ahead, I'm normally writing Christmas books in August. So, so when I'm writing my Christmas books, there is nothing Christmassy going on anywhere else. So I'll normally be curled up at home with Christmas music playing, burning a Christmas scented candle to try and get me into a festive spirit while everybody else is thinking about summer holidays.
Right, that leads me to two obvious questions for me. Favourite scented candle for Christmas and favourite Christmas song, that one that you hear it and you go, right, yeah.
Okay. So favourite Christmas song is The Pogues. Fairy Tale of New York, Fairy Tale in New York, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love that one. And there always seems to be a campaign to get it to #1 for Christmas, and it never quite makes it, does it? But yeah, I
I
love
think it's
that.
because of the opposing campaign, obviously some language used that causes some, and anybody you ask will have an opinion, so I'm not asking.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Too controversial.
But yeah, I love that one. I mean, I love every Christmas song, to be honest. And favourite candle scent, it would have to be something cinnamony. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't like cinnamon as a flavour, but as
No,
a scent and a candle, lovely.
that is exactly where cinnamon belongs, in a candle, nowhere near any food.
I'm trying to think of the name of the Noddy Holder Christmas song. I can't think. Is it
I know the one you
called
mean, but
Merry Christmas? I hear that and it's Christmas. It could
yeah,
happen in July, and I
yeah,
just, yeah, absolutely feel it.
yeah. And if you're does happen in July.
Kaz wants to know favourite Christmas themed dessert. We're really going for it. We're getting us into the Christmas spirit in October, and I am here for it. I've got to tell you.
This is not a good line of questioning, Kaz. I'm a really, really fussy eater, so
Me too.
so I don't like Christmas pudding. I don't like Christmas cake. I don't really like Yule log. I'm gonna have to say mince pie, but it's got to be the ones that are kind of dusted on the top. Yeah, probably more like a bakery mince pie.
See, I was that weird kid who took the mince out and ate the pastry because the hint of the flavour's fine, but that texture of mince meat, no.
Yeah, it's
So I'm
strange.
that weird kid.
The whole mincemeat thing is a bit weird. So yeah, we'll say a mince pie.
I like the whole idea of where it came from, the whole thing of let's use up everything that we've got and make this really nice thing. But I would be the person who would, if it was a Christmas pudding, I wouldn't be allowed to light it. Definitely not. I'm clumsy. So no, I'm going to go with a Christmas cheese board. I'm not really a sweet tooth.
Yes.
So I think somebody should always appear with a cheese board every 20 minutes.
Yeah, that is basically my life in December. So when it comes to Christmas Day itself, I'm kind of past cheese, never want to see it again. Yeah.
I don't think that. No, I don't think so. Interesting. It's interesting how often these conversations turn to cheese. Happens more than you'd think. Tony Millington says, kick Christmas into December. Bar humbug, we will not. No way.
Goodness me.
I love the horrified face. That was, yeah,
Who invited that kid?
that's you told Tony Medellin. We're continuing with it. Fave Christmas movie. Kaz says hers has to be Muppet Christmas Carol, which I haven't watched in years, actually. We start with Home Alone, which I would like to have watched Home Alone by now, but the kids they're just not into it this year. I don't know what it is.
Hello.
I know. It's disappointing behaviour in the Brownlee household, I've got to tell you.
Definitely. Again, I love all Christmas films to make up for the food I don't like, I guess. So The Santa Claus, I love Tim Allen. you know, got a little bit of a thing going on for Tim Allen, so anything he's in. Actually, I'm dressed like him today, aren't I, with my checked shirt on?
Almost like you knew we were going to ask.
Yeah, I have come dressed as Timber Toolman Taylor. So yeah, the Santa Claus, and we have a Christmas Eve tradition. We always watch The Holiday. So that's our
Okay.
routine. Yeah.
We have ours is we watch The Snowman, Father Christmas, and The Snowman and the Snow Dog. And my favourite one is the Father Christmas one. Absolutely love it. I
Is
think it
that the one
came
where
out the year I was born.
is he quite grumpy in that one?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So it's showing the rest of the year and the lead up to Christmas when everyone thinks he only works one day. And then it shows him going off on holiday and visiting various places and eating and drinking lots and lots and lots of things. It's my favourite. I can't wait. I'm really excited now. I can feel myself getting more and more giddy. Let's hope the kids know that Christmas Eve is non-negotiable. That's what we do.
Yes,
But
yeah.
Home Alone, you think how can you not want to watch Home Alone yet? It's almost the end of October.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Home Alone for quite a few years. I'll have to make sure we watch it.
Add it to the list.
I
We only
will.
really watched the first one, and I did have a thing for Macaulay Culkin when I was a kid, and we are the same age, so grown with it. But yeah, husband sat about 3 feet away through that door, but this is not a secret. Somebody has written, I bet this is Mike Craven again. Severed fingers or an engagement ring as a secret Santa gift. I don't even know where to begin with that. I am going to have who it actually is that said that because we have some very interesting people. Mike Craven called it. Oh, Mona, your image has disappeared, but I can still hear you. Do you want to try and come back in, if possible? I know you might have to literally go out and come right back in, kind of start from scratch. This is good. This is where I get to do tech support without being able to see what you're doing. So I've got Mike Craven saying it was me. Of course it was you. So Mike Craven said severed fingers or an engagement ring as a secret Santa gift, and Kaz said or a delightful combo. So what's going to happen in the next book? Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Caroline, offering to come in if we need you, but we're fingers crossed that we can stay put. We've not got long left. We've only got 10 minutes left. I'm wondering if I've missed any. Somebody said, "Wish it could be Christmas every day." I'm assuming that's somebody's favourite song. Kaz wants to know how nerdy are you? She made Christmas Dungeons and Dragons for the kids one year. She's a high school teacher. They had to dodge swinging candy canes and fight evil elves. I
Oh my
mean,
God.
if I didn't love her enough already, that has just gone.
That's amazing. I mean, I used to think I was quite nerdy, and then I heard that. I'm, I'm probably quite nerdy in a lazy way. I'm nerdy in that I like to read books and stay at home and not really speak to people, if that counts.
About the book club that I get to talk to people all the time, and I could be sat here. I'm not sat here in my pajamas, but I could be, and nobody would know. It's marvelous. I've actually got under my rather fancy shirt because I was a bit too warm with my jumper on, so this was a last minute grab for something that didn't need ironing. I've actually got these pants on that have got like elasticated side panels. I am a very
Oh,
happy woman right now.
wow.
I really shouldn't tell people things, should I? So tell us about, you were saying about the last scene that you wrote.
Mhm.
Is that for the Mystic series?
So that's for the Paranormal Women's Fiction series. That's the brand new series. Yeah.
Okay, and it's sorry, you did say, didn't you? You said it's the story that's leading up to it. So do you know
Yeah.
when you're going to release that? Is that going to be kind of something that people can sign up, subscribe to your website for, or will it be on Amazon? Where are you going to release that?
Yeah, so that will be on Amazon. The anthology itself comes out in April. It's called All Too Familiar, and it's me and various other authors with a story included. So people can look out for that. And then my series, my paranormal women's fiction series, I'm aiming to be launching book 1 in March. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
And how far into that process are you of book 1?
Of book 1, I've got about 8,000 words, and then I've put that to one side to write the prequel. The deadline for the prequel is earlier than my deadline for the first book will be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to manage because Amazon and various places, you're saying using Gramspark as well, expect a certain amount to be done, ready to be loaded, preloaded, don't they?
Yeah.
So how much prep goes into that? How much do you actually have done before you can hit that pre-order button?
So to put a pre-order book, but to put a book up for pre-order, really you don't have to have anything ready. The risk is if the book isn't ready by about 5 days before the pre-order date, then if you have to cancel that pre-order, you lose pre-order privileges for a year. So
I didn't know it
setting up
was
a
a year.
yeah, a whole year, it's a
Wow.
really brutal day. And I know for some people it's too much pressure and they really don't work well to know they've got that hanging over them. I work really well to a deadline. So I love that setting up a book for pre-order gives me a deadline. I've got to have it ready for then. So yeah, I use that as a little trick to motivate myself.
So we've got just under 5 minutes left. Do you want to give us a recap? And we will pop a link in at the end just for anyone who wants to go and have a look at some books. Do you want to give us a recap of everything that people can just go off and buy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I have got my Waterfell Tweed series, which is Sandy Shore, because I like funny names. Sandy Shore owns a bookshop and a cafe, and it's set in a really, really cute little village in the Peak District. That series is very nice and quaint. Then there's the Mystic Springs Paranormal series and the Christmas Mystery series, and I've got various other kind of one-offs and things out there as well. Everything's out on Amazon, everything is in Kindle Unlimited, and everything is in paperback as well. And the best way that people can keep in touch with me if they wanted to would be joining my reader group on Facebook or joining my email newsletter. I send an email out every Thursday, and it includes a little snapshot of life in Nottinghamshire and book updates, sales, special offers, and all kinds of things.
And finally, one final question for you. Memorable moments for you so far as an author?
Memorable moments. I think it would have to be some of the lovely emails that I get. I absolutely love getting emails from readers and just hearing that my books have helped them through a dark time or just helped take their mind off things. I've got a client who has very recently had an organ transplant, and he messaged me to let me know that he had been called. He'd got the call to go to the hospital and get the transplant, and he might even be watching me. So hello to you. I'm not going to say your name, but hello if you're
Obviously not
watching.
high.
And yeah, I was so touched that he wanted to reach out and let me know about that, and that process has gone well for him and he's recovering. I think it's just beautiful, the connections that you can make by your books and your words. And yeah, I'm very, very lucky to call lots of other writers and some readers very dear friends.
And on that note, what a lovely point to finish. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all of the admins and members who've joined as well. It's been really lovely to meet you and to get to know Hollywood and just candy cane village. There's so many lovely things, and I think anyone who's looking for a bit of escapism, just to yeah, go and pick up a book and have a read.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. This has been so fun. Thank you.